Hey, all right, so we are going to make a liquid rainbow today. These are the items that you'll need if you want to make a liquid rainbow at home. You will need a scale. I have a beaker, but just a tall glass is fine, preferably if you can see through it, that way you can see the rainbow. Some mixing spoons. I have popsicle sticks. You'll need equal parts honey, blue dish soap, water, olive oil, and rubbing alcohol. As you can see, it's not very rainbow-like, so some food coloring to help make some rainbow colors. After that, you'll also want a piece of paper so that way you can keep track of what I think and then what I know. And the colors that you'll need, the 5 colors you'll need, will be the colors that you'll match your rainbow. So I've got blue for my blue dish soap, yellow for my olive oil, and here's the funny part. I'm going to turn my honey purple, I'm going to turn my water green, and I'll turn my rubbing alcohol red. Let's get ready for our I think and our I know with another marker, or you can choose one of the colors that you're using. I'm going to draw 2 U's on my paper. And just like I said, they're nice and big. And my U's represent my I know, my I think and I know, but they represent my beaker, where I'll be making my rainbow. To help my brain, I could also add the words I think, and then I'll put the I know, because we'll be doing the I know at the end of the experiment. I think, I know. My paper can come to the side. All right, well, let's make my honey purple. I actually have purple food coloring, so I'm going to put 2 drops in there. Otherwise, you would just use some green and red to make that purple. I've got my green food coloring for my water. And it's so clear, I only need 1 drop. And my red food coloring for my rubbing alcohol. I'm going to do 2 drops in there, maybe 3, just to make it a nice bright red. Doesn't look very purple yet. You can see the food coloring just sort of sitting in there. I'll mix it up. I got those neon food colorings, and it came with the purple mixed with the yellow, the orangey of the honey. Turns into a really pretty color, a really pretty purple. And it's not too dark, that's what I really like about it. It doesn't come into like a muddy purple. There we go. Take off the extra. I'm going to stir up my green water. It's nice and bright. And then my red rubbing alcohol. Rubbing alcohol and water look very much the same. They have the same texture, the same liquidy, but the smell is not the same. You wouldn't want to drink that. You could smell it. Not bad. You know what? I'm going to add another drop just to make it like really bright red. Maybe 2 more drops. 1, 2. Yeah, look at that. So I now have my purple honey, my blue dish soap, my green water, yellow olive oil, and red rubbing alcohol. To make my rainbow, well, I just like to put heavy stuff on the bottom. How do I know what is heavy or which of these liquids are heavier than the other? That's why I have my scale. All right. I've made a chart to help me keep track of the weight. Let's fill it in. Now this scale, you always want to check your scale before you weigh them. My scale doesn't start at the 0. I'll see if you can see it from up there. So the 0 would have been straight up. When scales get old and they don't get tuned up, their 0 gets heavier and heavier. So all I'm doing is I'm keeping track of what is considered 0 on my scale. And that way, I know to remove this number from the number that I get when I weigh them. I'll show you what I mean. So 120 grams is considered 0. When nothing's on my scale reads at 120 grams. So when I put my purple honey on, I come down to check it, and it actually says 215, but I know it's not 215. So if I take off 120, 215 minus 120 is 95. My blue dish soap. This one weighs weighs 70 grams. Yeah. Really making my brain work. Big math. Oh, I'll show you at the end. My green water weighs 68 grams. My yellow olive oil comes in at 60 grams. Oh. Yes, 60 grams. So like I said, the number that I see there, I have to take away 120. Or I could just write that big number, but I'll try to be accurate. And my rubbing alcohol comes in at 70. Oh, there we go. No, 55. 55 grams. Okay. Whew. Let me just double check my olive oil to make sure that I got the right number. So that is 60, 70. Yeah. Okay. Whew. All right. So here are my numbers. I've got honey at 95 grams, my dish soap at 70 grams, my water at 68 grams, and my olive oil at 60 grams, followed by my rubbing alcohol at 55 grams. Now we get to fill in the I think. What do you think will happen? I'm going to pour in my heaviest liquid, followed by my next heaviest and my next heaviest, all the way up till I get to my lightest liquid. What's going to happen? Are the liquids going to blend? Are they going to make a rainbow? I don't understand how it could make a rainbow. If I pour liquid in liquid, it would just mix up. So in your one of your U's, you're going to draw what you think. How will this rainbow look? Will it look like a rainbow? Will it? Who knows? I want you to fill that in with your I think. Now that that's done, let's see what happens with the rainbow. Okay. So now is where I take my bigger glass. I have a beaker. It's okay if you don't. I said I would start with my heaviest liquid. I'm actually going to come around to the front now. So that way I can pour it in front of us. Okay, so my heaviest liquid, that one is honey weighing 95 grams. So I will take my beaker, take my honey, and I'll pour it in. I'm going to try not to get any on the sides if I can. I'll just pour it straight down to the middle. And it's honey, so there will be some that just sort of doesn't come out, and that's okay. So I've got my purple honey. Move back to the side. I'm done with my honey now. Okay, my next heaviest. So I've got 70, 68, 60, and 55. That means my 70, my dish soap is my next one. Here is where we get to see, as I pour the liquid dish soap in, is it going to mix with the honey? Is it going to sit on top? It's liquid. I think it'll mix, right? That would make sense. So I've got my blue dish soap and my honey. Again, I'm going to pour, try to get down to the middle. And look at that. It's too light. Even though it's liquid, it's too light. It doesn't mix. It just sits on top. Pretty pretty, eh? Kind of beautiful and super cool. So we've got our purple honey and our blue dish soap. Do you think the rest will kind of do that? I mean, my water is like really liquidy, you know? So I'm actually going to show you something cool that I've found out by accident. So I'm actually going to pour not my next heaviest. My next heaviest would in fact be my water at 68 grams. I'm going to pour the oil first because I want to show you what happens when we pour heavier liquid on top of light. So I'm going to pour my oil, but I'm actually pouring this one on the wall. Oil and water can be a little funny, a little special. So there we go. So we have my oil sitting on top of my blue dish soap. Look what happens when I pour the heavier liquid. So I've got my green water coming in. My green water was 68 grams. My olive oil was 60 grams. Watch this. It's going to want, why would I explain it first? I'm going to pour this one on the wall, along the wall as well. So you'll see the green, and watch that. It goes right under, it goes right under the oil and pushes the oil up. Isn't that cool? It doesn't even try to stay on top. So my heavier water was like, sorry, you guys just have nothing to keep me together. Keep me here. And it comes straight through, but the water is lighter than the dish soap, so it doesn't go through to the dish soap. It just sits on top of the dish soap. Now, my red rubbing alcohol, I'll pour this one for you guys. It smells so strong, rubbing alcohol. So I'll pour this. Ah, did you see that? It wanted to come into the oil. Oh, and even got down to the water, but then it realized, oh wait, I'm much lighter, and it went back on top. So how does our rainbow look in the end? We've got our I know paper to fill in. We have our I know. I know that purple stayed on the bottom. Then it was my blue dish soap that sat on top of the purple. After my blue dish soap came the green water. I poured the olive oil, the yellow olive oil, but it did not stay next to the blue when I poured the green water in. After green water was our yellow olive oil. And then we finished with our red rubbing alcohol. So that's how it looks in the end. What happens when I try to stir in all the liquids? Are they going to stay mixed up, or are they going to realize how light they all are compared to others? So I'll stir it all together and let's see what happens. My honey is still down there. My blue dish soap is fighting to right in front of our eyes. They go back to their place. We were friends. It was nice hanging out. It's time to go home. Now, my green water didn't stay green because of the dye, the food coloring from the red rubbing alcohol, but that's still the water. You've got the olive oil and the rubbing alcohol.